The Triumph Hurdle, and here, now that Mill Chief is out, Edward O'Grady's horse, Alavan, I think Gary's at the moment the favourite.
Yeah, 4-1, Bob. 4-1 favourite, Alavan. 6-1, Carlo Briganti. And Secret Star's about a 8-1 chance, 10 bar. I think he's definitely got a favourite at Alivian 4-1, but I think there'll be plenty of people on the panel who want to take him on.
Andrew, there must be a few trends for the Triumph.
There probably are, but it's not a race I've looked at in great detail. I thought Alavian can be forgiven the defeat to Carlito Briganti as he raced too keenly and pulled his way into the lead. He'll do better off a strong pace in a big field. Good ground would be an unknown factor, but he's got to be on your shortlist. The one I liked at a price, although he's also entered in the Fred Winter, is Barwell Bridge, trained by Warren Greatrex. He impressed at Foss last first time up before racing too keenly when runner-up at Ascot and Doncaster. But to say the Fred Winter is probably the plan.
Foss Lass, Paddy, just interrupt. Is that a front runner's track, you think, of Foss Lass?
No, I think it's very fair. It's
fair track, yeah. You don't get too many results there, do you?
No.
A lot of fancied horses win there, Foss Lass.
It's sort of Newbury-like, isn't it? Mark?
So since Fred Winter's been in the last year, I think the Triumph's been an absolute punters. Great race for us. We've had so many favourites win or come second. Last year, first and second favourites. Walk on Zanar. Year before, we had Franchuk and Celestial Halo. Then we had Penzance winning. The old deal about the Triumph being a lottery is gone. But I think this year's the worst Triumph I've seen for a long, long time. I'm back to Leyvan after it won at Goran. A friend of mine does speed figures, and he said he's done the best speed figure by any juvenile for a long, long time. He'd done a 7 seconds quicker time than a Grade 2 winner later on that day at Goran. It didn't rain there neither. He then, as Andrew said, got taken on. I was with Edward O'Grady on Monday, and he wasn't best pleased with the jockey for getting involved in the speed duel. And I think Davy Russell was just sitting there at the back on Carlito Briganti, who was a 25 shot, and come through and beat him. It was 100 rated flat horse, Aga Khan flat horse on the flatter Leyvan, but he's not very big. That's the thing people say to me. He's a very, very small horse. I'm not certain that Big Phil will actually play to his liking. At Goron he went second and then sort of took it up 4 furlongs out and just ran away from him. I think it's a very, very poor race. Barwell Bridge is an horse I'm very, very interested in. I followed him on the flat where he ran a cracker at Royal Ascot in a 9.5 handicap on good ground. And I had my absolute coconuts on him at Doncaster last time. I thought it was a certainty. I don't know what Timmy Murphy was doing that day. He was on the inside. He seemed to get outpaced, and I don't know whether Gates's was trying to get a mark for the Fred Winter, but I think he got too high a mark in the Fred Winter. Going back to the Fred Winter, I was with Edward O'Grady again the other night, and he's very, very keen on an horse called Capellinus in that. And he was second to Seekand Star at Goran, and we watched the video the other night. Edward was rolling up the way Barry Garrett. He managed to get the horse beaten by 10 lengths, and I think he would have gone very close to winning jump in the last. And again, of course, last year, run by your mate, Paddy Wilmot, the Alexander Severus last year, wasn't it? I think that ran a race in but going back to this race, I just think, it's a race really to leave alone. That I wouldn't put anyone off a Barwell Bridge. I think he would improve for a strongly run race and much faster ground, just like he got on the flat. I think he's a big player at a big price.
He's a very big price, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not quoted in the paper, Rob, so...
I think he was about 75 on Betfair when I looked a few hours ago.
So there's another interesting runner, Notos to the Tour. I think everyone in this room has plotted up for the Martin Pipe, Imperial Cup double, and then the Fred Winter double. But I was all amazed when he wasn't in the decks for the Imperial Cup. Straight away, I assumed that he must have had a setback, because when he won at Plumpton, he beat an horse called Ranjobi, whose form ties him with Minora, Belvano, and all the good novices. And I think they just run him to get a mark and go to double, and then he's not appeared. I had backed him non-runner, no bet not to the Tour, because I think that form with Ranjobi is very, very decent form, and he's a big price. But I say, the fact he never turned up in the Imperial Cup suggests to me he may have had a setback. You won't find out from the pipes.
Do you think he's more likely to run in the Fred Winter than the Triumph, Notice?
Again, all along, Bob, we've seen with David Pipe the last 4 years, he's had a 4-year-old like Gaspara, Ashgazar, Mr. Thriller last year, running the Imperial Cup, and then try and win a race at Cheltenham for the 75 grand bonus. It looks like he's less with Hunterview this year. But I'm pretty certain not us to the Tour was the plot all along, and the fact he's not running suggests to me that he may have had a slight setback. No, he's actually in the Fred Winter, the Supreme Novice, which Pipey won as a 4-year-old with Hall of War. I backed him at 50 for that just as a save, and non-runner, no bet. He's also in the Triumph. And it's interesting that David Pipe said last week that if Mill Chief doesn't run in the Triumph, they might run Notice to the Tour in the Triumph. And what I thought it would do, if he won the Imperial, it would give him another few days to recover from that. I know they thought Ashkazar would have done the double, but the Fred Winter was only like 3 days after the Imperial, but they did do the double with Gaspara, and of course Mr. Fredder was the plot last year. Again, it's a big thing, 75 grand bonus what Paddy gives for the Imperial. Remember, it's the winner of the Imperial Cup in any race at Cheltenham, it doesn't matter.